And, but Dave and the committee, I can still accept on behalf of the board the 3 recommendations that he has. Is it 3 or 4?
3.
What?
3.
3, okay. And I guess at that point, those 3 become public anyway, and but we are not taking any action tonight anyway, so I guess you can present them on behalf of your committee.
Well, first of all, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you, and I think all the members do, for appointing us to this committee. I've been on a lot of different boards and committees, and this was a great one to work with. This was fun. It was an overwhelming task. We had, I don't remember the exact number, they're all in here, all the resumes we received are on a disc for the records. But we had a lot, and the committee did a great job of going through each and every application and weighing the pros and cons and making sure they met the minimum requirements. And once we got down to that, we set up interviews, and we had some good interviews. We did a second interview where we included some other folks, and that went really well, and it helped us as a committee, I think, make our decision of who 3 to pass on to you. But it went really well. I don't know if the other...
Here he is.
Come on. Here he is now.
Now I guess we have the full, we weren't sure that, I thank you, so now we...
Start over?
Yeah.
No, he just, I was gonna give them to me
My
anyway.
sister was graduating in Worcester, so I had to try to say hello before and skip the graduation to come here.
Okay.
So
So, we're very,
Charlie, do you want to just call the meeting to order?
Yeah, I'll call a meeting to order, and, so I guess what we had started, Matt, was just the, introduction, and then Dave was presenting the 3 resumes, 3 finalists that they have to us, and that's where we're at.
okay.
so again, on behalf of the members of the committee, I want to thank you guys for appointing us. This was great. We had a good process. The committee was really hard. I don't remember the exact number, but they're all in here on a disc for you. All the packages we received is 40-something, almost 50. We went through each and every one, made sure they met the minimum requirements, we did a round of interviews, we did second interviews, and then we had a nice unheated, but we had a good spirited meeting tonight to get down to 3 to present to you. You know, we had a lot of good candidates. I think anytime you do stuff like this, you get a chance to meet a lot of good people, and we did. It was nice to see the number of folks interested in serving the town of Barry. A lot of good qualified people. It wasn't an easy decision to make, and I think tonight kind of proved it when we had to come down to 3 to give to you. But you know, I think the 3 we're presenting to you tonight are good candidates. We wish you the best of luck in going through them. So in this package is the disc with all the applications we received. We finalized all of our minutes tonight, so there's a copy of all of our minutes in here for you, and then the resume of the 3 finals.
Okay, well,
We
we thank you as chair, and we thank the committee. We know that these things are a lot of work, and they're doing it as outside. The board is certainly a favor to the town and to us, and we recognize the amount of work that goes into this, but it allows for much larger input from the town. It's not just us making the decision, so it's been very helpful. We appreciate your efforts and the efforts of the entire committee.
I think we all live here too, want to see somebody good leading the town, so.
Yeah, we
do
thank
appreciate
you.
it. It was
We
fun.
thank you, and we thank everybody. Do you want me to read the names out?
We're done.
You're done.
You have the
Okay.
package now.
You want the names?
You
They're
guys
public
can-
at this point.
I just had some other questions too. I just was curious of, and again, just so people understand, this is not directed at anybody. It's just a general comment that part of the whole thing that brought me into this office was me coming out with the idea of an objective, look at things openly, objectively, and paying attention to the policies and the procedures and things like that that were written. Are we following them? And I'm not sure, and I would like to see, were you able, Phil, to get me a copy of the, okay, so there's a couple things, and again, this isn't about any individual, it's just about me trying to figure out how we got where we did, and so I can better understand it and maybe put something out there based on my thoughts. That's it. I'm not even speaking for the board, because I know that's not what's going on here. And please do understand, I truly appreciate the effort every one of you did participating in this and the time and the commitment you put in. Because I'm learning, it's not easy to do this stuff pro bono and just make time in life to fit this in. So thank you very much. One of the things I was just curious about was, how did we come to the number 3?
That was the number we agreed upon the past board to.
I thought we had talked about 2 to 4 originally, and somehow it got down to 4 on the charge. I'm not quite sure how that evolved, but anyway.
I don't think we started the process with a set number in mind. I think as things progressed,
We could give
Arrived at
you
the
40,
number
we could
3.
give you 10, we could give you 3. You know, our job was to get it down to what the committee felt was the 3 best choices, or the best choices for you to make. You could spend months going through all 40 of them, you could let us do that, or, you know, I think what you had in front of you, though, is a good diverse board from the community, from department heads to business owners, the folks that are involved, and particularly people that have been involved in town for a long time in different ways, and we, you know, came up with the best candidates to pass on to you. Again, you could go through all 49 are there, you can start the process over, you can do what you want to do.
No,
But
again,
we
I'm
felt
just curious, because I thought I originally, just to go back a little bit, just because this was my first attempt actually doing the initial draft of the charge. And then we worked with Heather, she brought in some comments, thoughts about how it was formatted and her experience, so we brought some of that in. Then Charlie and I, in a meeting, we discussed, and some people in the crowd brought in some points. And one of the first thoughts was I had asked for 4. And then somebody said, well, what if you really don't have 4 good candidates? And so I was like, well, all right, well, maybe 2 to 4, because you can't give me 1. Otherwise, you're not giving us a choice in the matter. And so we kind of did say 2 to 4. I don't know if that made it into here, but I know originally it was 4, and then it was either 2 to 4.
It says 4 in here.
Okay. So what I didn't understand is originally it said 4, but I'm trying to find it again. I'm skimming too fast, I think, to actually find the actual clause.
It's on 6A, or 6B rather, the last sentence. Page 2.
Yeah, the committee will present 4 finalists to the board. So the question I had is, we were at 4. If I'm correct, we were at 4, and then for some reason you chose to have meetings with department heads and get others involved to go from 4 to 3?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other question I had was,
We would have done the same thing to get it from 6 to 4, or 9 to 4, or 9 to 5, or it would have been the same process. It's hard to get a feel for all these candidates from just sitting down with them for an hour in the first interview. One of the things which benefited us greatly was there were comments made by candidates that kind of changed our mind by watching them in action, how they interacted. These are the folks that have to work with these candidates at the end of the day, your department heads do.
prior to your committee having any involvement with these, before you went to anybody else outside your committee, what was your final number?
4.
Well,
Okay, so you're at 4 before you thought you needed to bring someone else in to make it to 3. Okay.
again, we would have done the same thing if it was from 6 to 4, or 6 to 3, or we had reached out to other search committees, and we've all been on different search committees too, and have done this in the past, and, you know, we wanted to get a better feel for these people. Because at the end of the day, these are people you want to see how they interact. You want to see how they interact with department heads. And I thought the process was good for myself, and I think the committee did too, because it kind of changed our minds on some of the
It made a
candidates.
big difference.
Made a huge difference.
Okay. And the other thing, and what I'm trying to get at here, just to explain, is Section 5 says no names or applicants will be shared with anyone outside of your committee till the finalists have been presented to us. But then you went ahead and scheduled 4 appointments to pretty much just public input
So when
with
there was-
department heads and everyone else. So
there was
I'm
a-
just curious,
Again, there was a concern.
was
raised
anybody
by-
reading this?
Again, Jim Beard sent an email, I believe, to Phil, saying that, yes, he was fine with it. Again.
No, see, but Jim didn't author this, we did.
Yeah,
So how come nobody came to us and said, you know what? We hear what you wrote, but
I
we think
believe-
we should do this. Do you mind if we do that? And then we could have amended the committee.
I believe that Phil reached out to Jim originally, or you guys did.
I knew about it.
No, I reached out to Phil and asked him to reach out to Jim after I found out you were already doing this.
Yeah.
Not because we want to go do this, let's work through the process. I'm just curious. I did not know this was happening until the morning of.
Well, it's because we're the committee and we were charged with presenting candidates to you.
You were given this charge.
You can do whatever you want to do.
No, I'm
Yeah.
asking, you're
So-
missing my point. Again, I'm not trying to beat you up, Dave, or any of you. I'm saying, we, the select board, developed a policy.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it wasn't followed.
I
Are you
think-
saying, I'm not sure we're on the same page though. Or you're saying right now that we released, are you accusing us of releasing names? Is that what it is? What's the, maybe I
Did,
don't
when you introduced them to different department heads outside your committee, did you not say this is so-and-so's name?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
So nobody knows who they are.
They
Correct.
introduced
In
themselves.
fact, when we got the feedback, people were using descriptive terms like the gentleman, like, they didn't even necessarily know their names.
So when,
They didn't know
when,
that.
when we contacted the final, saying we've all been through this process, I know I have, is there's a confidentiality expectation. We want to do second interviews. And they were all given the opportunity, we can do an alternative second interview. We're not gonna hand out your name to anybody, we're not handing out your resume, you can introduce yourself the way you want to introduce yourself. So they were given that during the initial call. Gene was in the vehicle with me when we drove him around, they were given another opportunity when they got here, the same thing. We have a second interview, we have a different second interview that we can do for you. They were all fine with the possibility that their name could get out there. Their resumes weren't handed out, we didn't introduce them, they introduced themselves, they were given the option of saying whatever they want to say. Again, I think it's important to remember is, you have every single resume there. If you want 4 people, you can pull 4 people. You want 8 people, you can pull 8 people. You can interview all 49.
Oh, I
So
agree.
I'm just saying though, so,
Again, you're missing my point. That was, it's not about, do I have the information? Can we dig in deeper and pull someone back if we wanted? It was just, one, I thought we were gonna have 4, as this is written. And you had 4 before you did all of that. But then you did that, and it seemed like it's really skirting the line of what the intent of this was, is not releasing information about the applicants outside your own committee until you present to us your finalists.
which we didn't
So
do.
you're at the point of having the 4 finalists, and then you decided to have these meetings and move another step further to get rid of one more name.
Yes.
And I didn't understand what that effort really did. And secondly, and from a different perspective, okay, this has nothing to do with the policy and nor does it mean that it wasn't beneficial, okay? Please. I recognize if I wrote this and I was wrong, I probably could have included something better to make it clearer, so I'm not saying what I wrote was perfect, so please forgive me, I'm not trying to say that. But the other part was the time commitment that the rest of the town board members and department heads put into that at a time when we don't have a lot of time to give. We're trying to finish a public safety building, we're trying to close out free cash, we're trying to do other things, and I don't know how much time was spent not doing that, instead talking to these candidates. So another perspective that might not have been noticed by you, because once the finalists come to us, we could have done the same thing. But we could have done it and scheduled it as we see from our bigger picture, how it affects the operations of the departments and the government.
Again, one of the reasons which was beneficial to us was, and I don't know, I'm not comfortable talking about why we eliminated one candidate over another in a public meeting like this, because again, our deliberations are confidential, but other than to say. this
The
was-
meeting at 5 wasn't confidential, was it?
Yeah, it was a executive session. Because we
It wasn't
voted,
posted as executive, was it?
we voted to go into executive when we get
Yeah,
it.
I don't.
Okay.
We didn't post it that way, we have to vote, it's a meeting that you have to vote to go into executive session once it starts. So, I'm not comfortable saying, other than to say, you have the 3 best qualified candidates out of this pool, and,
Okay.
the meetings that we did do were very beneficial, and beneficial for us and for the townsfolk in many different ways. And I think it helped us tremendously to make our decision, and I think we've done a disservice to the town if we didn't knock this down to 3.
Mhm.
Okay. And
The feedback.
just so you know, I'm really not upset about the effort and the intent, okay? It's just, again, I see my role as a select board person is, one, we work on, agree on, and draft policy, and then the next role we have is to ensure the policy is met,
Yeah.
and it wasn't.
I think it was, I think you.
Well, you're not giving us 4 candidates, and that's one of the exact so it wasn't met.
We can give you a 4th right now. If you want us to give you 4, we'll meet and give you 4. I mean,
Dave, I hear what you're saying, I'm just
I think
saying,
it was overlooked. I don't think we were intentionally
Yeah.
saying, let's
okay.
divide this.
And that's
chart.
all I'm bringing
sorry,
up.
I never saw it.
that-
We can.
all I'm bringing up is just that general statement, and I'm just kind of, you know, when I'm up for reelection, if the town doesn't like this direction I'm presenting, they won't bring me back, and that's fine. I'm just stating that my position is, if we write something, you follow it. And so if we give you something, read it, know it, and follow it. And this is nothing against where you're trying to do what you thought was best, nor is it anything to do with what maybe previous kind of processes were allowed to do. So I'm not even beating anything up on that. I recognize, I'm just stating my position.
Okay,
So, and I appreciate your position.
yep.
Please, forgive me.
Okay,
So you have your 3 names.
okay.
Thank you,
want
though.
4th?
And I do
Because
appreciate
We can
it.
go back and we can vote on the 4th.
Not
That's a
necessary.
bad vote.
Okay.
We'll go with what we got.
Liz and then Phil, okay?
I was just gonna say that, when we went back over it, because of the additional interviews, we were able to eliminate one person for a
Mhm.
very good reason, so.
Would you rather have us given you that, I mean, just carrying on what you just said, would you rather us have thrown in that 4th one? Knowing
we
that,
had-
I don't think it would have
Like what?
really
I don't
put
feel
any
like we
more
should
burden
have
on
been
us,
boxed
because
and
we had 4 for the
said no.
police search committee, and after the very first interview, we cut it down to 2.
so regardless of how many qualified people applied, you wanted the number 4, is that? I wanna
We
make
had
sure I'm
asked
on
for
the
2
same
to
page.
4,
2 to 4, we gave you.
but it ended up being written as 4,
No, but
so
do
I
you follow what
recognize,
I'm
so yes,
saying?
we had asked for 4.
Do you follow the logic I'm saying? Like, if we don't have any idea of how many qualified candidates we're gonna receive, and you
Understood.
give us a static number of 4,
Yeah.
we're now boxed into a corner. I don't think the board should have had, our committee rather, should have had to say, we gotta give you 4. All right, well then, we'll give you this, the manager at Wendy's, because that's the 4th one. We just have to.
No, what you
That's
could have
that's
done
what I'm trying
is
to
just come
avoid.
before the board and said, we really don't think we have
Well,
4.
right, and honestly.
And we
I
could have
don't
said,
have-
okay, give us 3.
I don't have an excuse, because I read that charge, and this is the first I remember seeing the number 4. So, I have no excuse. I just,
No, we were.
apparently, no, we
2 to
didn't
4.
intentionally try to deceive you.
No, and that's why I'm saying it's not an individual thing. I'm just trying to make the point of,
This was the.
If
if
national
you don't
report.
think the policy is quite correct, just come back to the policy maker and say, hey, we think we should do it this way, what do you
If
think?
I had saw that and known that, I would have.
Right,
So,
Okay.
I mean.
and so I'm just bringing it up for
For
that.
something that was unintentional.
Again, I'm not berating you, Dave, at all.
Okay,
It's
Phil?
the process, and I was just trying to get it out there so people understand beyond you that I think if you see this the next time, whatever role you play in the government,
Which we've all done for a long time. So
Right,
before
and
you
that's
sit there
all,
saying
just-
We don't
Mhm.
follow what we're supposed to do, which you're insinuating for all of us. We apologize, we didn't follow your directive for 4.
Okay.
None of us read it, none of us remember seeing that, we read the charge over, we were told 2 to 4, we came up with 3. Sorry.
Okay. Phil, and then I'll say something.
Mr. Chairman, you ready?
Well, again, thank you for your effort on doing this, and a lot of this was done after hours. And I think you followed the spirit of the charge, which I appreciate, and I thought the interviews or discussion with department heads and the candidates was very valuable, so I appreciate you doing
Well,
that.
this town's gone through a lot, and I think part of the one thing that this was a good opportunity to do was to start building bridges and healing a lot of the things that happened in this town. And the feedback we got from everybody was tremendous. A lot of people have said, in all the years they've been here, they haven't been involved in a town
Mhm.
administrator search. And the feedback we got, I think, helped us make that decision, and it was very valuable.
Okay.
So we would do it again.
Now, let me just say that I was aware and that it was done with the, before the various department heads. In the past, when I was on the school committee and stuff, kind of a customary practice. At this point, because you're down to the 3, 4, 5 or whatever number, and I think if they're coming in from the public sector, I'm sure that their supervisors or boards or whoever it is has been told. And they did have the option to opt out if they chose. In terms of the number, I don't think if you feel you've got 3 that is superior to the others, it's not really fair to bring somebody in just because you're 4. Likewise, if you said to us, gee, we got 5 people here you might want to talk to, I mean, personally, that wouldn't bother me. And I think that, like Phil said, I think you met the spirit of what we were trying to do. There's a lot of people that applied. I'm sure the bulk of them were qualified for this job. Or else they wouldn't be doing it, I'm sure. But that's just my feeling on it. I don't think that we need to, we've got 3, and like I said, if you had a 5th one or something, I'd be okay with that. They said you really should talk to all 5 of these. So I think you met our intent of what we wanted to do, and you followed all the other guidelines. And so I think we can probably go through these and schedule up some interviews and see where we go. I definitely appreciate your help on it. We got a lot of fish in the pot, so to speak, I guess, and with everything going on at this time of year. So we appreciate your help. You took quite a burden off in town, and I know it took a lot of time.
About a week ahead of schedule from what we were giving you.
Do we know
Exactly.
the name of the 4th candidate who got whittled out? That we could, the
He's
board
in,
wanted to consider that person that could do that?
It's in the minutes, all the resumes are
Yeah, all the
on
minutes are
this.
here.
All right.
Again, there was a reason why we voted to vote who we sent in.
Yep,
And I don't want to
okay.
discuss publicly pros and cons, I don't think that's fair to the candidates, is that always done in executive session, but I think there's a reason why we voted for the people we voted for. So,
Okay. So
And yes, again, thank you very much.
Thank
I know
you,
that
thank you.
the way I came in didn't sound like I'm thankful, but I really am. There's a whole different side parallel discussion I was bringing up, not the effort in the end result. So thank you very much.
Which
Thank
we
you.
did when we met all the departments, how we all interact and talk to each other is a big way of how we heal the
Yep.
bridges and build bridges in this town. It's
No.
important to speak to people.
So thank you. We appreciate the committee's
Thank you very
action.
much.
Thanks, guys,
Uh,
ladies.
Do we want to set up a schedule tonight or go through these and then?
No, I would like all of us to have a chance to review it a
Okay.
little, see what Greg has to say, because I don't know what his schedule is when we finally can meet it up with him. That's my recommendation.
Did I miss you on the last? No, okay. I did. So I just thought okay.
Okay,
Yep.
that's all I have.
Yeah, we have one other thing. Matt, would you like to meet with the superintendent of schools on this budget stuff to see if we could work something out?
Yeah, I'm more than, that would be nice if she's interested. I'd like to talk to her, see what she has to say.
Okay.
Do you want me to work a schedule out, or do you want to take care of that?
Why don't you call and just, you've got everybody's numbers and stuff, see if you can
Okay.
see if you can schedule something up. It would be nice if it could be just us, the board and them, or whoever they want actually, but the evening or something would be a little easier for us. I doubt it, that would be very helpful. I think we need to speak. We can do it at her office, it doesn't have to be here. Whatever, we're open.
Okay.
Do you have anything else you needed?
Just getting scheduled for the next round is, I think, a priority.
Hmm?
I try to get it scheduled as soon as possible. You want to pick on some dates now, and so we can, I mean, how do you want to do this? Show me the candidate?
We need Greg in order to do that. So I'd like to have a meeting with him involved so he knows when he's available.
Well, you could
So
pick-
maybe we
you
set
could-
something
you
up
could-
for
you could-
prior to the finance committee meeting to put an agenda to create a schedule
You mean next week, Wednesday?
next week, Wednesday,
Pick a tentative date.
and
Yeah.
work a schedule from there.
So you wanna meet next Wednesday with Greg to talk about when to schedule
Yes.
interviews?
Yeah.
What if you went ahead and just schedule it and then see if you could work that schedule? And if not, just cancel it.
Because I don't know my own schedule yet well enough to answer that.
Yeah, we may, probably the easiest way would be to do it in our regularly scheduled meetings and go from there.
Okay, so what time on Wednesday?
What?
What time on Wednesday?
Probably 6:30.
6:30,
And then at 7,
yeah.
we'll go to the finance, is that?
Sure.
Yeah, does that sound okay? Okay.
And if we can, I'm sure that's a lot of information on a disk. I don't know, is it, how difficult do you know would that be to share the electronic information?
Well, I guess
I
the
have no
question is
idea.
if you just wanna go with the top 4 candidates, or if you wanna look at candidates beyond that.
Well, I want to look at the whole submittal just to look at it. And then I'll probably focus on the resumes of the 3. I just want to see beginning to end.
I'll see if we can get it in like a Dropbox,
Okay.
but Charlie wouldn't have access to that. I don't think, I don't know.
Well,
So,
print out whatever he wants, I guess.
I think Dave said there was 40-something in
Right, whatever he wants, print out.
What, in terms,
there. Okay,
You know, if he only wants the 3 resumes, then I'll leave that up to him to decide what he wants. I just would like to have the access to the electronic.
okay.
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 Alrighty, I guess with that, we can,
Make a motion to adjourn?
okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, all. Thanks for staying.
Thank you.